the investiture. Great. So you probably heard Jack Burler mentioning my name, that I was in the pioneer class. This campus, 50 years ago, was just a field. Grass, wildflower, weed, blowing in the wind. But there was a man with a vision. And he had a clear vision. And that vision was powered by the love and passion for the philosophy, art, and science of chiropractic that was passed on to him by B.J. Palmer, the luminary visionary and the developer of chiropractic. And here we are today, 50 years later. There is a lesson to be taken from that. And it's a lesson that I want you to have for your practice and for your life. Because that lesson, I have applied it in my life. I've applied it for my practice. I've applied it for my seminars to elevate the skills of the profession to a truly professional level in adjusting. I've applied it for Masterpiece Training Camp when we had it in Colorado and all over the world, actually in Argentina, in Japan, in Spain, in Canada, twice the United States. 6-day intensive training to take chiropractor to heal themselves at the core, to clear their baggage, and to fully embrace the philosophy of chiropractic. So that lesson is this, that if you have a clear vision, not for yourself, a vision greater than yourself, a vision for at least for your community, for your state, for your country, for the world. And the greater your vision is, the bigger the universe helps you. If you have a clear vision and you power it with your love and passion, you are unstoppable and it will manifest itself. That line of wisdom that I got from Tom Gilardi by witnessing him creating Sherman College with all of the struggle, and David is here, David Vosimer, Linda Klein is here, they're here, early student of Sherman College. The struggle and the mountain that Tom Gilardi had to climb, unstoppable, because of the vision that he had and the love and passion that he had. This piece of gold, I don't care if you're in first quarter, 9th quarter, 12th quarter, 14th quarter, 24th quarter, I don't know how many quarters they have now. It's like they keep adding them, you know. Feed your brain with a lot of left stuff. Left stuff, left stuff, left stuff, rational, 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 logical. When the practice of chiropractic is all about shading your education, washing away your education, emptying yourself, becoming an empty vessel, and operating from the right brain, operating from your core, from your intuition, with great skills. But they are feeding you more and more of your left brain. And you have to do it to get your license and pass your boards. But once you graduate, do yourself the favor of taking a break, no matter how long it may take, and wash yourself of your education. Completely wash yourself. And only retain what matters. What matters is what you will know inside yourself. Not by regurgitating the philosophy that Reggie Gold, Bill Dakin, Sid William, Jim Zigafus, Wade Port, Jim Digan, myself have stated, and that you listen to on a tape or a video, but are ingesting it deep into your core, digesting it, and then being able to articulate it with your own linguistic, with your own word from within. When you have made that journey inside to the truth that resides within every human being, and you have touched it, it does not matter what question will come your way. You can take that question, bring it in, bouncing against the place of truth that resides within, and then spit it back out with clarity. That is the journey that you have to take. Across the border, in all the schools that I've known, the best student, what do they call it in America, sum cum laude or something like this, I don't even know what it means, usually have failed in practice. It is the people that were rebels in the back that say, I don't give a crap about that medical stuff you teach me. I know there is an inborn intelligence within. I know there is a universal intelligence. I know there is a life force. I know there is a neurospinal system to which life force flows. And when that system is clear, human physiology and human beings are better for it. And they stand on that truth. Those are the people that excel. The practice of chiropractic is utterly simple. It is a travesty that they are teaching you this complexity. I hear of chiropractors having a hard time. How many people are you seeing? Well, you know, in the afternoon, I can see 20 people. In the morning, I see about 9. And you have 4 people working for you, 4 employees. Are you getting this? The insanity of it? You can see upward from 250 people with 1 CA. I have a friend of mine in Paris, France, Romain Cardinal, seeing 200 people a day with no CA. Automated. I had 1 CA my entire career when I was practicing full-time in Pennsylvania for 25 years. When I practiced part-time for 20 years in Colorado without a license, because I refused to have a license, because the state of Colorado would require me to do things that are not chiropractic. Oh, you broke the law. No, I abided by the law of the heart. There is human laws, and there is the laws of the heart. Long time ago in Carolina, in the South, black people were not allowed to sit at the counter in a diner. Somebody had to break that law because the law of the heart said it is wrong in spite of the law of the land. So that's the journey that you have to make. Wash yourself of your education and abide by the law of the heart. When I came to Sherman, actually when I went into my chiropractor in 1973, Jean Bellaval, I received a gift. I believe that you received a gift. I know that David and Linda know they received a gift. The gift of chiropractic. But what is that gift? What we were given is 4 triumphs: philosophy, art, science, intelligence, matter, and force, universal, innate life force, head, heart, and hands. 4 triumphs. I do not know of any profession, any vocation, any field of study, any field of endeavors that has such a complete package. This complete package, if you really understand it, absorb it, digest it, ingest it, will allow you to grow as a human being like no other place will do. That's a gift we were given. If you really, truly understand the reality of universal intelligence, the reality of innate intelligence within your body, the reality of the critical, essential necessity of life force, if you truly get it, and then you follow the principle and the philosophy and look into the science of chiropractic, which is basically the science of the human body. I always said the book of pathologies that you're studying for the board, of physiology, of anatomy, all those books, you are studying it as a student to get your board, to pass the test. So you want to remember insertion, origin of a muscle, nerve supply of that muscle. But unless you step back and look at it for the expression of the mind of the designer, for the expression of the mind of innate, for the expression of the mind of universal, those books will become spiritual books. If you study the kidney from a place of being in awe that this tiny little organ, do you know what modern technology has to, the size of modern technology to replace one kidney? If you truly get it, you will be in awe at the mind of the designer, as a mind of universal, of the mind of innate. That's the gift we were given. And part of that gift is that we get to touch people at the very core of their being. Think about it. Is there anything more core to a human being than the neurospinal system? You can lose your appendix, your tonsil, your gallbladder, one kidney, a lung. You can transplant the heart. You can transplant organ. You can lose your limbs. No arms, no legs. It's no problem. You can't transplant the spine. You can't remove the spine. There is nothing more core to a human being than the neurospinal system. And we were given the gift to touch people at the very core of their being. Do you realize the awesome responsibility that comes in handling that gift? This is not a joke. The adjustment is not a joke. Most chiropractic colleges make it like a nothing. They're not bringing up to the level of professionalism, to the level of responsibility that it takes to touch a human being at the core of their being. I live in Colorado. David lives in Colorado. We go on trails, walking, hiking trails. What do you see? Carcasses, leftovers of elks, bear, coyotes, deers, cougars, mountain lions sometimes. Everything is gone but the spine. In India, where they burn bodies on a fire, if the fire is not hot enough, everything will be gone but the spine. The neurospinal system is the first system to be born in the body. Neural groove, neural tube, notochord, somites. It's the last to go in transition. We get to touch people at that level. The neurospinal system is a site of the subtle current of prana and apana. This is where the kundalini energy is stored at the base of the spine in the sacrum. And when awakened, travel up the central canal to shoot into the brain and blossom like 1,000 lotus flowers to illuminate the mind. and bring people in a state or stage of enlightenment. That's what we get to work with. That's what the Palmer were in touch with. But since 1895, and especially since 1961 when BJ died, it has declined. Where now we're teaching that it's some form of neuromuscular treatment, that it's some form of natural therapy to treat symptoms, sickness, and disease. When in the reality, it is touching people on the altar of the spiritual warrior, which is the neurospinal system, where all of the spiritual energy flows through. When you pass, when you die, your heart may stop. The oxygen is deprived from the brain. But the life force will slowly leave the body through the neurospinal system. That's what we get to work with. So the question that we have to ask ourselves is, how are we going to show up to handle that gift? We were given the gift to do it by hands. And even if you use an instrument, you're still doing it by hands. You're still holding the instrument. Not my hands, not Wade's hand, not Jim's hand, not your hands, not our hands. Thy hands. When you have made the journey to wash yourself of your education, and you empty yourself, you will experience becoming a vessel, a vehicle, what BJ called a hollow bone, an instrument of the divine, to deliver the adjustment. And that adjustment will be through thy hand, not your hand. That is what BJ talked about, the adjustment without something special. Oh, this is heavy. Wow, this dude is heavy. That is a reality of what you come to in practice after some years, sometimes not from the very beginning. I was fortunate, it came to me fairly early. I realized in practice, my first two people in the day, I don't call them patient. I don't call myself doctor. Why would I use a medical terminology for a vitalistic life principle? So the first few people in the morning, a man or a woman, I do my best. I'm at 98%. By the third person, I'm at 99%. By the fourth person, I'm like a bartender in a bar. Have you ever gone to a bar where there's nobody there, and you ask for a drink, they serve you a drink, and it's terrible. And then the place gets packed, and you ask for a drink, and the guy is just flying, and he gets the best drinks. That's what it takes in practice. By the fourth person, I begin to hit my stride. And then I was on, out of myself, out of my mind, out of my way, serving people. And I know you're going to think it's crazy. Knowing before I left this table what was already going to be done on the next person. It was already calling in the field. Being in a trance. That is a common denominator of all the chiropractors that have seen high volume. That have served people. And for 20 years, I stopped talking. Except for the first visit. After the first visit, I don't talk. I didn't talk. I didn't educate anybody. For 25 years, I did heavy education. Not lay lectures, not a sales pitch on chiropractic, but sharing the principles and the building blocks of chiropractic philosophy. But for 20 years, when I practiced part-time because I was traveling so much, doing seminars, speaking different places, I didn't do any education, none. And people brought me their babies, their newborn, entire family. How do you figure? How did they get it? Because you are the nucleus of your practice. From that nucleus, from your consciousness, from your state of mind, from your heart, you emanate a field that radiates outwards, and people get it through transmission. So we were given this gift to touch people at the very core of their being. And unbelievable, to this gift is attached a reward. How many times do you get a gift? Christmas, holidays, Hanukkah, whatever faiths you have, birthdays, anniversaries, you get a gift. Here's a gift. Oh, by the way, attached to the gift is a reward. Do you know what the reward is? People handed you their 2-hour-old babies. What kind of trust does it take for a birthing mother to hand you over their 1-day-old baby? Please check my baby. You will become, if you practice the totality of chiropractic, not just the art, but the totality of chiropractic. And I'm going to clarify this. The vast majority of our profession practice the art, the adjustment, because that's what gets money. This is what I can get something from. And they rob the public of 2/3, the philosophy and the science. To deliver the philosophy and the science, you must be willing to do public speaking. A video won't do it on Facebook. A video won't do it on Instagram. You need to have a connection with your people in your office and share the deep principle in an applicable, tangible way that people can come to your talk and listen to a 1-hour talk on life force and go home with something that they can apply to their lives. They can come to you and listen to a 1-hour talk on the meaning of symptoms and take back home something that they can apply to their lives. And every 2 weeks, give talks on different topics. Not about how parsley can affect your health, how garlic is a great antibiotic. Who the hell cares? There is plenty of people doing it. But talks on the fundamental principle. 1-hour talk on universal intelligence. Oh, that got to be boring. No, that got to be fascinating if you do it right. And at the end of that talk, people come up to you, and I've been with my church for 25 years, and I have more understanding of the divine now than I ever did. You do this, you practice the totality of chiropractic, and people will ask you to be at the birth of their children, at the bedside of their dying ones. I had a birthing center next to my office in Yardley. So this woman called Amanda had been a client of mine for a number of years, and she already had one little girl. She was pregnant, received care during her pregnancy, and then she said, my husband is not so cool that I can give birth at home. This is what I would want to do. So I'm choosing the birthing center. I said, that's great. So she calls me and says, I'm at the birthing center, and I would love for you to come to my birth. I say, as soon as I'm available, finish my morning hours, I'll be over. I go over to the birthing center. She's laying in bed with a baby in her arm. She delivers a baby named Gus. And for me, it's like something strange about naming a kid Gus, but that's okay, that's my deal. But she holds a baby named Gus. She's radiant, she's beaming. She pops that baby out in 30 minutes. I miss the birth. So I'm sitting next to her and we're chatting and she's just completely elated. You can imagine if you have ever been at a birth, the energy of a birth is, it's incredible. You have to treat yourself to it. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy in the room. It's something that permeates. The love is there, the radiance, the glow, the joy. It's all there. And suddenly comes a nurse walking into the room with a loaded syringe. And I say, excuse me, what is this for? Oh, she says, that's vitamin K, that's for the baby. I say, wait a minute, hold on here. You're telling me that Amanda manufactured a human body from an invisible dot that you cannot see with the naked eye. Without doctor, without scientist, without biologist, without chemist, without genetician, without physicist. And in 9 months, manufacture a perfect baby that she popped out in 30 minutes, and the universe went, oh, I forgot vitamin C, vitamin K. Do you know the response that I had from the nurse? She went, with the syringe was like this, loaded, she went like, you know, I never thought of it that way. Let me find out if it's a law. And as she walks out, I say, if it's a law or not, the kid is not getting it. Are you getting this? Are you getting this? That locked within that dot, microscopic, hyper-microscopic, is a knowledge and a power for the creation of an entire human being. Which means it has a knowledge of cardiology, nephrology, syndesmology, osteology, myology, cardiology, genetics, you name it. That knowledge is locked in that dot. And we think that universal intelligence forgot vitamin K. So the reward that you're going to get, if you're willing to really practice the totality of chiropractic, to give of yourself, to give of your own abundance, to give of the knowledge that has transformed your life, to share it with others. If you do that, you will become the central figure in your clientele's life. They will invite you to their wedding. They will ask you to officiate their weddings. You will become a lighthouse, a point of light for those people. Not because you told them what to do from the outside in, but because of your talk, you revealed something within themselves. One of the most common things that I received from people that came to my talk 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, because I did a cycle of talks. Every 6 months, the cycle repeats itself. So different topics every 2 weeks. After a number of talks, the most common response that I had is, Arno, at first, I thought you were teaching me something. And today I realize you never taught me anything. You just allowed me to tap into something that resided within me. I knew that that day, that person was free. There is a lot of chiropractors and chiropractic offices that have people that have gone from one jail, the medical jail, into the chiropractic jail. They are followers. I believe in chiropractic. I believe in what you do. I never believed in chiropractic. I didn't want to believe in anything. Believers are dangerous people. I wanted to know. And that's a different journey. I wanted to know. And the day that I knew, I remember learning or memorizing, because I didn't speak English, so I had to memorize the English and try to remember identify it on the true and false, or the multiple choice on the test. But I remember memorizing the definition of the major premise. There is a universal intelligence in all matter, constantly giving to it its properties and quality, thus maintaining it in existence. I was like, I don't even know what this means. What the hell is that? And then, over a period of time, it hit me. There is a universal intelligence in all matter. It's in the carpet. It's in the microphone. It's in my shirt. It's in every speck of air in this room. It's in every piece of you. It's everywhere. There is no place to look for it. There's no place to look for it because it's everywhere. Are you getting this? This is the core principle of our philosophy. All of the religion talk about a God. Oh, they have a God. That's all right. And then they go to war because their God is better than this God. And you guys don't believe in my God, so we're going to slaughter you. The Crusade, the Inquisition, the burning of the witches, the genocides of entire indigenous cultures for the love of Christ. Doesn't feel like love to me. Are you getting this? Chiropractic has a spiritual dimension that is so profound. No one can say, oh, my universal intelligence is better than your universal intelligence. Ain't gonna happen, as they say in South Carolina. Ain't gonna happen. That's the reward you were given. So my question to you, and I know most of you are students, there is a number of chiropractors here, is how are you going to show up? I don't know for sure what the cost of education today is in chiropractic, but I believe it's somewhere between 200 to 300K. I'm going to school, to Sherman College, Life University, Life West, Palmer, Parker, and I'm going to be a mediocre chiropractor. No, I think, I'm just going to be an average chiropractor. For 300 grand, I think I'll be just a good chiropractor. Tap into what's going on inside you right now. For 300 grand, 4 years of chiropractic college, maybe 2 years prior, 6 years together, you invest in yourself. I'm just going to be a great chiropractor. You have to decide for yourself today, not tomorrow, not in 6 months, not at graduation, today. Right now. And it's going to confront your self-worth. Are you willing to be an exceptional, extraordinary chiropractor? Are you going to be willing to go at a professional level? This is a professional school. It's supposed to graduate professionals. Are you training? Do you have the mind? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the willpower? Do you have the staying power? Do you have the dedication? Do you have the commitment? Do you have the lifestyle of a professional? Because that's what it takes. Especially when you're not shooting a ball in a hoop. You are turning on life and freeing life force in a human being and touching them at the core of their being. Are you getting this? My dream is to be able to speak to every single student in the entire profession and for them to get this. Because this profession has been dragged into the gutter of mediocrity. I'm going to have a talk with Jack Burler. He's going to listen to that talk. And I know the man, and he's a friend of mine. And he's all heart. And he's all about humanity. And he comes from a different culture. Northern Africa, the Algerians. Fierce warrior, but humble people. This is going to go in by Monday. He needs to get where we have to take the profession, where we have to take the education. And I don't care if they have to add 2 quarters to Sherman College. The 2 quarter comes after you have passed all your bullshit boards, all of your state boards, all of your national boards. You're done. And for 6 months, we're training you to tap into your intuition, to tap into your right brain, to become an artist, to digest, ingest, and absorb the philosophy and the principle. Then you come into the world and serve people. That's the day the profession will come back to what Gigi and BJ had dreamed of. There is few people in this room that can validate that if you make that journey, you will never work another day in your life. You will be on what I call the endless vacation, for which you will receive ample financial reward. You will harvest for yourself inner and outer wealth. You will harvest for yourself inner and outer fulfillment. How can you get rewarded, paid, for a woman asking you to check that 2 hours baby? How can you get rewarded for being asked to be at the bedside of the grandmother who is dying? There is no amount of money that can fulfill you, that can reward you for what you're going to get out of the experience. So I'm going to leave you with this one thing. I came from a different culture. We don't pursue the dollar. We don't pursue material things. Material things came to me. Wealth came to me. It was never, ever my priority. But every night I would come home, and I had to ask, when I step into practice, I asked my wife and my CA, I do not want to know how much money I can make. I'm washing my consciousness from that. I had heard Sid Williams say, you've got to separate your healing hand from your business hand. And I took it exactly by words. So for 25 years, until I sold my practice, I never knew how much I made. The money would go from the front desk into a blue envelope, into my home, and was deposited by my wife into a bank account. Wealth came my way. I remember my wife saying, what do you have back there? The money printing machine? All cash. So I came from a different culture. And then when I stumbled into the American culture, not when I was a student at Sherman, everybody was very poor. We lived in mostly poverty level. Thanks to David and your wife at the time, Roberta. You guys had me at your house so many times for dinner. And I thought, oh my God, I don't have to eat at Mrs. A anymore. Mrs. A had a little shack somewhere on Church Street for $1. You got fried chicken, okra, a piece of corn, and cornbread, and iced tea. and you had to dish your own dishes, and if you couldn't afford the $1, you did the dishes in the back. Saved us. But David, it was, I think, your second career, right, David? Weren't you like in the shoe industry for, if I recall, I'm not sure that I recall exactly, but I remember you invited me to your home, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a great meal. This is so wonderful. So yes, I had heard of the American dream, the streets of gold, like Jacques Burlet talked about. And I flew from Paris to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and let me tell you, the streets were not paved in gold. It was a culture shock beyond. It wasn't the city of lights that I had left. But I heard of the American dream, accumulation. Get the money, get the money, get the money. Business first, people second. If you want the American dream, if you want a life of accumulation, you have to be asleep. If you want a life of contribution to the betterment of humanity, you have to awaken. American dream means you're asleep. You have to awaken. And that's a choice that you have to make. Since 1973, I've never worked a day in my life. Even when I was a waiter at a sizzling steakhouse on North Main Street. Because I had a purpose and a vision. I served people. I served people in the restaurant. I served people in my practice. I served the profession. I served the student. A life of service will bring you happiness, fulfillment, joy. There is no greater joy than to serve people out of your own abundance. Doesn't mean it's for free. You have to abide by the law of exchange, the law of giving and receiving. Don't go into the poverty mind. Oh, I'll give it away to everybody. No. You have to be in exchange, the law of giving and receiving. But that is the back end. Take care of people like family. Take care of people like friends. It is so simple to run a chiropractic practice. How hard is it? You come in, you sit down. So now there's 3 other people sitting down. The CA goes, there's a table open. You get up, you go on that table. I come in, I check you, adjust you if needed. You come back to the front desk, you make another appointment, you pay, and you walk out. Oh, that is complex. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? I need to have this decorum. I have to have this facade. I have to look important. It has to look like I know what I'm doing. It has to look very serious. There's a lot of form to fill in. Index card. What do I need to know about a person? Name, address, phone number, if they're married, do they have children? And the only one thing that I really need to know is reason for seeking chiropractic care. And behind that, is there any spinal trauma that you have had that you know about, that I should know about? I want to know if she comes in to get adjusted, if she fell from a 12-story building on the pavement. I need to know that. Besides this, I don't care about anything. I don't care. Did your grandmother have diabetes? Does diabetes run in your family? Did your father have gonorrhea when he was in the army? I mean, really? Really, really, really. And then you have the list of symptoms. Do you have headache? Do you have migraine? Do you have sinusitis? Do you have rhinitis? Do you have sciatica? Do you have back pain? Do you have What are you telling people when they go through the list of symptoms? What are you telling them? That you are the person that treats symptoms, which we know this is not what we do. Symptom may go, Symptom may not go. But every human being is going to be better off with a neurospinal system that has been cleared, because it's a positive for human physiology. End of the story. All that stuff they ask you at the health center to fill in, it's because of the CCE. You need to know the distinction. It does not matter if you are really going to take care of people at the highest level. So the choice and the decisions you have to make is a life of accumulation or a life of service and contribution. And you need to be at peace with whatever financial reward will come your way. I have seen chiropractors starting on this journey and other chiropractors starting on the other journey. After 2 months, Autumn, how many people are you seeing? Still only seeing 5 people a week. I know, I got it. Autumn, just hang in there. Keep sharing the principle. Keep being in the zone. Keep practicing from your heart. The other guy, well, I have a big billboard on the highway. I'm in the phone book everywhere when there was phone book. Now on internet, Facebook, Instagram, I'm everywhere. I'm seeing about 50 people a week now. I've been 3 months in practice. Ah. And then it goes like this. Revolving door, no reputation, no referral, constant advertisement, constant promotion, in and out, in and out, in and out, sustained growth, explosion. Not a thing to do, or referral, or word of mouth. Anybody that is in practice right now in this room knows the difference between a client that have been referred to you versus a client that came through advertising. Night and day difference. People will come into my office and say, "Thank you for seeing me. I was recommended to you. Thank you for seeing me. I know you're really busy." They were grateful to come into my office. Where clients that come from advertising, what the hell is this? You get it? That's your choice. Let's go party at the hotel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
If you guys brought a copy of the book, or if you would like to purchase one, Dr. Arno will be signing them.
Yeah, and I have a lot more books while ICM because in 45 years of chiropractic, I have never ever self-promoted from the stage, ever. This book, when I put it out, I was like, I don't know if it's going to fly. And the feedback from lay people, from people in their 90 years old people, PhD in biology, reading it, saying, I wish I had known about chiropractic when I was young. I'm giving it to my son. Other people, a guy was the president of a bank in New England, going, I didn't know about chiropractic. But if I had known, and now that I'm 90, can you refer to me to a chiropractor? I'm not selling chiropractic in this book. I'm sharing the principles through a story and through my journey. So it weaves itself, and the feedback on social media are just unbelievable. I'm telling you, this is the first time in my 45 years in chiropractic that I will promote something from the stage. Get this book, it will be gold to your education. It will be gold to you in practice. $20 investment. I'm giving it to you at discount. If you go on Amazon, I don't know what it's like, but it's a lot more, plus the shipping. As a gift, get this book. It will save you virtually hundreds of thousands of dollars in practice management because you're going to get chiropractic. You're going to digest and ingest chiropractic. Okay? Thank you.
That's all, folks.
That is true.